Good evening, everyone. This is gonna be recording on the Valentine Day for our event. We're gonna have an event on the February 22. It's gonna be on the downtown Concord called Basement Archive. We're gonna have a game night, so we encouraging the single professional in Toronto next door or any other professions come to join us. And we also open for elderly or professional couple to join us for the game night and just want to kind of broaden for this event as well. Today, not necessarily gonna talk about Valentine because I haven't done that through my radio earlier. So you can go to my patreon.com/opogalaxy to get into our Patreon information. We gonna focusing today is talk about one of the my bachelor. He is one of my bachelor interview from my radio earlier. Somehow he got into a very terrible car accident. He had lost his leg, and he's Army veteran. He also used to be a police officer. So I think it's kind of really hard for him to go through that by himself. So this episode is gonna talk about how the safety for a road. Just try to go, get my head around the news from him. And even though his accident was in December, and somehow another, and one of my friend also, but she's much older and she also got into car accident. So it's all that pile up to lead to this today's topic. Just I mentioned, try to get to the emotion when I hear the news. This morning when I opened my Nextdoor app, our famous sign on our neighborhood is immensely made of a sign and put our community name there, Old South. This morning, our sign was damaged because another car accident. Somehow I read through the post. They mentioned about this young man was trying to avoid a collision, and then he had to choose to run into the sign to save himself. So I understand that, when we in a accident, when we in the emergency situation, our mind would say, I need to save myself first. So I'm glad he did. So that way he is safe. Somehow our sign's damaged. So we are gonna talk about how we're gonna recover the sign, and definitely that is insurance issue. That is a lot of pieces that go together. It's DOT, City, Concord, or Cabarrus County, and whole 9 yards. And so they lead me to this site is because during the COVID, I have relied on this site to get a lot of information. It's called WHO WHOOP. In this area, it's mentioned about the road sign, low traffic injury. So I'm gonna read through some of the information there to kind of highlight the importances. So you see, I can share the screen here. I can share the screen. Let me see if I can share the screen here. Okay. You see, this is WHO site, road traffic injury. The key factors. They mentioned about this agency that had monitored to about the safety for a road. And it's mentioned about approximately 1.3 million people die each year resulting in a road traffic crash. Does not count for the injury, but it's mentioned about the death. And they mentioned about the leading cause of death for children and young adults is age between 5 to 29. And I think this is more socioeconomical factor. I want to read that too. Is 93% of the world fatality on the road occur in the low and middle income country. Even though this country was approximately 60% of the world vehicle. And the road traffic crash costs most countries 3% of their gross domestic product. So I think who's the factor? Age, sex, and I think the risk factor is speeding. So I will mention when I look at the post, I was mention, should we egg into the continued driving education? It's not just the driving skill itself, it's also when or why and how your emotion stay should you not drive. We are very popular is DWI. While you are driving, if you have influence with alcohol or substance, definitely you don't want to drive. Or if you're too tired or you're driving the direction with the noise from the children, and it's also a factor too. So I think speed is the number one. I think the speedy we have it, you will get a very huge deduct point if you are speeding when the accident occur or you're being caught by the the highway patrol. And the other thing is thing to see disrupting driving I mentioned about, or having not bring your helmet or seatbelt. And one thing we talk about in our next door for our Old South community, we're thinking about is how are we get our necessary sign repair. Cannot be in this concur with unsafety road infrastructure because it's supposed to be a proper sign to slow down, or maybe the limit speed, maybe I put a sign to reduce the sign since you are going to our community is to be low down to a 25 when you're in a residential area, things like that, because it's between the highway and the residential road. So somehow that can be ideal for unsafety road infrastructure. So I think that we had to reach out as DOT or our county and find out about the legal statute to be able to ask for the damage repair or whatever that come after. Definitely on safety vehicle, we want to make sure your wheels are checked, and especially with rainy day. And a couple of days ago has been raining. So safety for your wheels, it had to be inspected, and definitely with any other factor for your vehicle, we always had to check as well. I think about the crashing care and law enforcement traffic law, that is kind of like a back to the legal issue. Yeah. So I just want to kind of point out this site, and so everybody can reach to them yourself to the WHO site for more detail. I want to pause here to kind of thinking about the last thing around us before the Valentine, because tomorrow's Valentine's Day, and today so we just see so many things happening, and my head still try to wrap around it. And it's not just the life itself, and also our mentality, because I know when you have such major event happen to your life, you kind of completely shut down, and somehow the PTSD, the trauma, then the whole nine yards. Um, I don't know how long that would take a person has such to cover and recover back for where they are. Um, is it's kind of gonna be a long discover throughout the body heal and mentality as well. You know, your depression stay and how you cover from that. And I did mention about I was so lucky when I think back my own experience. I have a car accident 3 years ago when I was third grade, and that was a motorcycle accident. So I was able to, I was being told by, by family member, because I don't have a recollection of what happened to me, those memory, because I just remember I took the whole semester off because I had to recover my own injury. And I remember one of my family member told me the doctor was suggesting I should amputate my leg so to keep me alive. But somehow my parents disagree with the doctor's suggestion, so they took me to a Chinese medicine doctor. I think it's like in Asia we have two medical choice: the Western doctor, and then of course our Chinese traditional doctor, the chiropractor. So I'm glad my parents make the right choice. So even though it's a long, long, long discover, I've been told, seems like losing the whole semester for my class. But I say, I get back to my health and whole 9 yards to recover from my injury. So I think that, so that way I kind of really glad for their decision make me to keep my leg, because I really cannot imagine if I don't have one of my leg or two of my legs. It's really hard to experience, because how am I gonna come to study abroad? How am I gonna to have a life I have right now? It's just so hard for me to imagine. And that's why 4 years ago I was a caregiver for one this senior disabled man. I tried to research about the disabled grant, disabled resource, because how life had changed, even though government have acted into the disability if you get qualified for, but I've been told for most of the people who apply and get successful, get a disability benefit, it take about average 2 years. So within that 2 years, people had to maintain either from the city or from the family resource or social resource to get them flow. So I circle back to 4 years ago. I look into the disability, and then couple years ago, I find the total in America 17 million with disability, and after COVID, so maybe the 17 million had been increased. So a lot of benefit from the government fund itself to recover from that. Especially right now, the president is the number 3. I don't know if it's have changed yet. Is the number 3. Either the death or the injury is the cause of the people's life. So I think that is something I also want to look into it to see if I can find more resource. And even though my friend kind of shut down, he didn't want to open up to anyone, but I still want to create some find some resource for him because he's a veteran, he's a police officer, and he doesn't need a lot of resource that helping him, even though he doesn't want to talk to me, it's okay, but at least I can find some resource for him and for his family because he still have a teenage daughter that rely on him. And I'm sure she must devastated when she knew what happened to his dad. So I think the sadness is gonna be around it and how his family gonna come up from here. So I really hope this episode before the Valentine's Day, I want everybody to be safe because I think health, safety should be peaceful, should be the central for our life. And so each time my son went to work, I drive to work, come home. I'm always so glad when he's home. So that way I know he's safe. So as being a mother or being someone you care about, I'm sure you feel the same way. So please, please be careful when you drive. As we drive, our vehicle become a weapon, we handle it. So even though we are passing the license to drive, but it's gonna impair when you having more stress or you have substance abuse or you have alcohol drinking or you just couldn't have a right mind to drive yourself. So if you're really tired, maybe you want to stay in the unmoving vehicle for somewhere a while before you can take a rest and then you can energize and come drive again. So remember, when you drive, you are holding a weapon to yourself and to others. For this Valentine, I wish everybody have a happy Valentine and be safe and be happy and enjoy. And hopefully I'll see it, some of you in my 222 event. Wish you have a great Valentine's Day. Thank you for watching. Even though our topic for Going All Together had covered a lot of information throughout the government contracting, throughout other world and professional or personal information, and just hoping this channel could be a future audio research for videos research throughout the Going All Together, taking a village. So if you're interested in subscribe our channel, welcome to become our subscriber. If you want to know about government contracting, you can go to my patreon.com/obogassi. Once you subscribe to get to know us, get to know my past work. Past performance is quite important to know my work as well. And go to our website to get to more information about our company. I'll be ending here and wish everybody a happy Valentine's. And actually every day is Valentine. And for people like me who lost their loved one, become a widowhood, it's okay to be yourself, but it's okay to have someone love you again. Good night, everyone.